Hello. How's everybody doing today? Hello. Say hello to everybody.
Hi guys. How's it going?
Hope you're having a great day. You should be, because today is
Friday.
Friday. Go Friday. Go Friday. Go, go. It's the weekend, and I hope everybody's having a great day or getting ready to have a great weekend. We are here. I'm so excited you're watching. This is the last live broadcast of the Ike's Fishing Basics, and we're going to have fun today. Finally, after 4 days of talking in the shop, in the office, in the lodge, out back, we talked about fishing. Now we're finally here, and we're going to get to fish. Yeah, I love it. All right, first things first, I have a special guest with me today, the one and only Vegas, aka Vegas the Hammer, joining us. Vegas, thank you. Thank you for joining me today. Vegas is here today to help teach and help instruct, and it's going to be a good one today. As you notice, you might be able to see the conditions behind us today. It's cloudy. It's got a little breeze on the water, and it's misting. It's got a rainy mist today. Not ideal for the fisherman, for the angler, but definitely a great situation to go fishing. The great thing about the sport of fishing is you don't have to have beautiful sunny weather. It's nice because it's warm, right? You could be in a t-shirt and shorts. On days like this, you have to dress a little different. But the fish like these conditions. The fish like to bite in these conditions. So we're going to see what happens. Let me start by saying this has been a great week of teaching people how to fish. And I hope everyone's enjoyed it. We talked about why fishing on day one. And we said it's fun. It's exciting. It's got a lot of energy to it. It's relaxing. Vegas, why do you like fishing? All those reasons?
Yes, but my favorite one of those is
catching the fish. Vegas loves to catch the fish. He loves to reel them in, that fight, and when you land them, that's an exciting part of it. And for sure, Vegas loves that part of it. On Tuesday, we talked about getting the basic fishing gear. And if you look behind me, I've got everything you need. And honestly, I brought extra, but you don't need a lot. We're fishing off the bank today. We're out on a dock. We don't have a boat. We don't have a $100,000 bass boat. We don't have $2 million worth of rods and lures. We've got basic stuff. All this stuff you see is probably under a couple $100. We talked about on Tuesday the basic equipment you need. On Wednesday, we talked about setting that gear up. And Vegas was in doing homework that day, but we were spooling line. We were tying hooks on. We were showing how you put a bobber on. We were talking about the tackle bags, the tackle boxes. Real easy to get set up. And of course, yesterday, if you tuned in, you were there for us talking about how to find a fishing spot. And lots of great ways to find fishing spots online, through mapping, by calling a local retailer. A lot of good ways. But today it all comes together. Vegas, it all comes together today, and we're going to be actually fishing today, putting it all together for you. You know, we've got all the stuff that we talked about. First things first, we've got our rain gear on today. Vegas has his Columbia jacket, rainwear. I've got a rain jacket on. We've got hats, which we talked about. We've got sunglasses on. I've got a buff on. Look at Vegas. He's wearing a life vest. I really suggest if you're fishing with a kid or someone that doesn't swim, if you're in a boat or a canoe or a kayak, wear a life vest. Even on a dock like this, I asked Vegas to wear his life vest today. It's a good, safe thing to do when you're fishing. Oh, Gary Yang. Shout out to Gary Yang over on Facebook watching us today. By the way, we do have Instagram in the house. Let's give some recognition over here. We've got, let me wipe my screen off here. We've got Long Island Bass Anglers. We've got Jeff Solo. We've got Devin over on Instagram. Hang with us on Facebook today, Vegas. We've got Kenny. We've got David. We've got Steve Weber. We've got Kevin McConley over in Georgia. We've got Mike Jones in the house today. Mike Jones in the house. We've got Ryan Marsh in the house over on Facebook. We got Ron over on Facebook watching today. So many great people checking in with us. And once again, if you're just tuning in, today's day 5 of Ike's Fishing Basics 101. And today, we're going to teach you the basics of actually fishing. We're on the water today. By the way, if you missed any of the episodes, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, all these are saved on my Facebook page and also Mike Iaconelli Fishing YouTube channel. So let's get started. You know, we've got spin cast rods, and we'll talk a little bit about them in a second. But Vegas and I are both going to start off with spinning combos. Spinning combos are so easy to use. We talked about yesterday, we practiced casting at home. Vegas has been practice casting since he was 3 or 4 years old, just in the driveway, in the garage, in the backyard. It's perfect. But today we've got our spinning rods. I've got my Flambeau bag. You know, little tiny box is all you need, but we've got our Flambeau bag loaded with all the gear that we talked about. This is real important. Listen, if you're going fishing, especially if you're fishing with a kid, take a little snack bag. We've got snacks, some of Vegas's favorite snacks. We've got waters, that's real important. The other thing I suggest if you're taking a kid fishing is bring some other stuff, just in case the fishing is slow. When Vegas was younger, we would bring some balls, bring a baseball, bring a soccer ball. You can bring binoculars. You can bring chalk. You could bring a water gun. Bring some toys with you in case it gets slow. For somebody just starting out, for a kid, it's really good. And we're on a dock today, but I want to show you something that's real good. We just found a stick just laying on the bank. If you're fishing from the shore and you need a rod holder, just get a stick. It's got a little V on the top. Jam it in the ground. You could set the rod down. If you're using a float or a bobber, this works perfect, okay? So that's there too. But we're going to be fishing today, and we're going to show you all the basics. And I'm going to get Vegas to do a lot of the instructing today. We're going to show you casting. We're going to show you how to retrieve a lure. We're going to show you how to detect a bite, whether you're fishing with a lure or you're watching a bobber. We're going to show you how to reel a fish in, how to keep that steady pressure. We're going to show you how to land a fish, hopefully, if we get a bite. And then we're going to show you how to either keep the fish to eat or take a picture, release the fish to swim another day. So we're going to get started here. Vegas, come in here and show them what you're using. Come in here a little bit and show them what you're using. Tell them about this bait right here. You can show both cameras too.
I'm using a swim bait.
Little swim bait, little grub. Yep, it's about a 2-inch. It's a Berkley Power grub. It's got a little jig head, and Vegas has that on a spinning rod. Vegas will show them exactly what it is here. We've got just a little Berkley Power grub. It's 2-inch. It's one of my favorite lures, and it's just on a jig head. It's just threaded on a jig head. You cast it out, you reel it in, you vary or retrieve. You're going to see Vegas doing that in a second. And then on my rod, I'm going to fish with the bobber today, at least to start. I'm going to be using Gulp, and you heard me talking about this all week. So much easier, more convenient, less messy than live bait. No more live worms, no more crickets, no more leeches, no more minnows. You got Gulp, okay? I'm using a fat worm today. I'll show you. I'll take one out. Literally looks just like a little worm. It comes in this nice little jar. It stinks. It's real wet. And I'm going to be fishing mine today on a float with about a 20-inch leader. We talked about the distance between the float and the hook. See, there's my float. As I talked about earlier in the week, I love those teardrop-shaped floats. I got about 20 inches, maybe a little more, about 25 inches of leader. And I'm going to wacky rig it. We talked earlier about wacky rigging. What's that mean, Vegas? What's wacky rigging mean?
So you rig it.
Right in the middle of the bait. hook it right in the middle of the bait. Going to go right in the fat spot of that worm, and I'm going to rig that little gulp worm wacky style. So we're going to fish, but I'm going to let Vegas take over. And I want Vegas, I want you to talk about casting. Show them how you're going to cast. And this is the basics of casting a spinning reel. So go ahead and talk about it.
So you have your rod. Your bail is right here.
Yep.
You're going to do this.
And hold the line.
You hold the line.
Yep. And now remember, before you cast, this is important. Listen, before you cast or your fishing buddy cast, look around you, right? You always look. Make sure your sister's not there, or a tree, or a dog. Always look around and make sure that nobody's around you. Okay, now what do you do next?
So you don't want to throw your rod into the water.
Hold your rod. Don't throw the rod.
So you do this.
Yeah.
Go here, and then let go of the line.
And then let go of the line. There you go. Okay, after you're done, you saw he pulled the bail back. He pushed the bail back, and now look at him. Now he's just doing a steady retrieve. Look at this. Steady retrieve. Come over this way just a little bit. Okay. All right, go ahead, Vegas. There's another cast. You notice, throwing out, clicking that bail back over, and he's steady reeling. Okay, he's steady reeling. While he's doing that, I've got a bobber out here. And basically, I'm watching that float. Okay, and I'm going to get a bobber as I'm letting that one sit, and Vegas is steady reeling in the back. I'm going to grab a float. By the way, when I pack this stuff, I use Ziplocs. I put everything in Ziploc bags. It helps me keep everything organized. So I got power bait, I got gulp, I have my fishing line in a little Ziploc. Got everything I need right in this little Flambeau bag. And I've got my bobbers as well. I've got a little bag of bobbers and weights with me. And I'm going to grab a bobber. And as I'm watching Mayan and Vegas is casting, I'm watching that bobber. And it's a windy day today, so that bobber's moving in the wind. It's floating on the surface of the water in the wind. And I have the rod laying down. Again, you can use a rod holder. You can use that stick. Today I'm on a dock, so I have it laying on the dock, and I'm watching the bobber. The great thing about a float or a bobber, it's so visual. So I'm able to sit here and talk to you and watch that float at the same time. And as it floats on the water, it's floating like this. It's floating like this. I'm watching for that float to go boom, to actually bob, to start bouncing up and down, or to sink under the water. The other thing you'll see a lot is you'll see that bobber start to move away, and it's moving the opposite way of the wind. That's another indication of a bite. So the great thing about fishing with the float, it's real visual. Vegas, talk about what a bite feels like. Now that was for using a bobber, but for Vegas, reel that in and talk about it. For Vegas, he's using a lure and he's reeling it. Talk about what the bite is going to feel like. Tell them right there. Tell them what the bite's going to feel like.
So you catch a bite, and I explained that. You have this, so the fish comes up. All you're going to feel in here is just like start moving around. You can feel it on your rod too. And then you don't want to jack it yet. You want to reel it so you make sure he has the bait. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, that's a great explanation. So if you're using a lure, you know, it's going to be a little different. It's less visual because you're not watching a float, but you're going to feel something. I'll grab this other rod here and I'll show you. When you're using a lure and you're steady reeling a spinner or a little jig like what Vegas has, or a little crankbait, you're reeling. All of a sudden you're gonna feel it, and you're gonna feel weight on that other end. You're gonna feel pressure on the other end. That's an indication it's a bite. So you always want to be paying attention if you're using a lure to something that feels different. If it pulls forward, if it's extra weight, set the hook, reel a little bit, and jack. Hopefully we're going to get a bite here for you so we can actually show you. It is a very cold, tough conditions out here. So, you know, the fish never cooperate when we're on live. But so we're using two different techniques, and both these techniques are really good for beginning anglers. You know, a little swim bait, a little grub, you can reel straight in. There's not a lot of crazy technique to it. And of course, the gulp that we're using, it does everything by itself. Look at that stuff. That worm's sitting out there, bobbing around. I don't have to do too much. I'm letting the bait do the work. I'm letting the bait do the work, and I'm watching that float. So, you know, you heard me talk on the first day about how fishing teaches a lot of life lessons. Well, here's one, and that's patience. You know, fishing, you definitely require some patience, so we're waiting. But here's the other thing. We're out here. We're in nature. We're outside. We're not cooped up indoors. We're looking at wildlife. There's bald eagle that flew by earlier. It's awesome to be out here. And think about what's going on in today's world with COVID and this global pandemic. What a great time. What a great time to be out here enjoying nature. If you're allowed, if you're watching and your state or your country allows you to self-isolate outside, if they allow you to keep social distance and be outdoors, what a great time. What a great, amazing time to try fishing. While we're waiting, I'll go back through some of the key pieces of equipment that I have in this little tackle bag. Of course, you heard me talking about my bait and my lures. I'm using a lot of gulp, a lot of power bait. I've got some VMC jigs, jig heads in here as well. I've got some more gulp. Keep that in its own bag. I've got my line. We talked about monofilament, how important mono is for beginning anglers. Got a lot of 6-pound Berkley Trilene XL and Berkley Sensation. I've got my bag that has bug spray, which we don't need today because it's so cold out here. I've got suntan lotion, which we don't need today because it's cloudy. And I've got a first aid kit in here as well. So I've got some real basic stuff. You saw my bobbers and weights that I have. I have some extra hooks. I've got my lures. I have a few lures in here. Carry little tiny box of spinners and little jerk baits. And ooh, that bobber just did something funny. What was that? I don't know. That was funny. Did you see it? Did you have a bite yet? No bite yet. Okay. And then I've got, let's see, I've got hooks. Oh, and of course, another thing in the back of this bag, your pliers, your scissors. You already have that stuff. I like to carry a little measure with me too. This is a Rapala measuring board. So if we catch a big bass or a big pickerel or a big walleye or a perch, we can measure it. We're going to go in here to this box and I'm going to show you one of the most basic ways to maintain your fish. And it's called a stringer. And listen to me. I know if you're watching right now, you can catch and release. That's awesome. We do a lot of catch and release fishing. If we catch a bass, we let it go. We take a picture of it, weigh it or measure it and let it go. But a lot of times we'll catch and keep some fish. We'll keep perch, we'll keep bluegill, crappie. There's nothing wrong with fishing to eat them. Again, in today's age where supermarkets are running out of stuff, what a great time to be out there fishing for food. So if you're fishing for food, a stringer is the best way to keep them. It's one of the methods I use if I'm not in a boat that has a live well. I actually use a stringer, and they have a couple different kinds of stringers. They have some with hooks, and they have the most basic form of stringer, which we carry right here, which literally you run it through their gill, you run it through their mouth and out their gill, and bring it back and loop it back to that metal ring like that. And what that does is it keeps them cinched down on this most basic rope stringer you'll ever see in your life. So a stringer, a chain stringer with hooks, a bucket can work. And of course, if you're in a boat, a live well is great as well. So if you're keeping fish, that's great. Look at your fishing regulations. Make sure you're catching the right size and the limits. And feel free to keep fish. If you're releasing them, best thing ever invented is a cell phone. Cell phone's great because it's like almost like a bragging board for people that catch stuff. So I just reeled my thing while I was talking to you here. There's that bait. Looks like no bites on it. So I'm actually going to make a change. Vegas is still fishing that swim bait. He's probably going to make a change. One of the things when you're out here, listen to me on this. One of the things is don't be afraid to change your bait or your lure to show the fish something different. Even when you're just fun fishing and we're just out here having a good time, nothing serious. There's no tournament going on. I still like to change my baits. So I'm going to take my worm off here and I'm going to go to a little different presentation. This is actually a minnow. This is a 1-inch minnow. I love this one too. And it looks so real. Hold on, I'll get you something in a second. If you look at that, look at this. This is a Gulp Minnow. And it's only 1 inch. It's super small. And instead of wacky rigging it, instead of hooking it in the middle, this time we're going to thread it. And if you were with me on Wednesday's program, you remember threading basically we're just going to take that hook and run it through the bait. Look at this. And thread it. I love threading that little minnow on the hook like that, okay? The other thing I'm going to change, always, if you're not getting bites, switch up. That leader was about 20 inches long, okay? I'm going to make it a little longer. So I'm going to move my bobber up. I'm going to adjust my bobber. I'm going to make it about 30 inches. You know, I'm always adjusting and changing stuff until I can figure out what the fish want. The other thing you can change when you're out here is change locations. You know, today we're set here. This is home base for us. But if you fish for 30 minutes, an hour and 15 minutes, and you don't get a bite, don't be scared to walk down to the next spot. We're close to the dam right now, but the next move for us might be a point, or it might be a creek, the headwater. So keep trying different areas. So I'm going to throw this thing out there, let that sit. We're going to get Vegas a change too. Let's see. We're going to change Vegas up, and we're going to try a little different color for Vegas here. Let's see. I think something with a little chartreuse in it. It's a gray, cloudy day, so we'll get Vegas changed up. He's already grabbed another rod. He's pretty slick, man. But we're going to change up to a chartreuse bait for Vegas. And I'm going to show you this once again. This is threading. We're going to thread this on here. And this is a Berkley power bait grub, curl tail grub. If you're just, hold on. Did you see that? Oh, what is that? Wait a minute. No. It was just a wave. Sorry about that. Whew, I got nervous. I thought I saw my float go down. Keep your eye on that, Vegas. All right. Berkley power bait curl tail grub. Man, I love this thing. And I've got a little chartreuse. This is a VMC 1/8 ounce chartreuse jig head. Nothing crazy, nothing fancy. And I'm gonna hook it in the grub. This is just a little extra little tidbit for you. Listen, you don't have to do this, but this is a little tip. When you're threading on a curl tail grub, thread it on so that the curl and the tail is the opposite way of the bend of the hook. And that's going to give you maximum action in that Berkley grub. So I'm going to thread it through. And when I remember, I want to always push it out right before I get to the tail, okay? So there we go. Look at that nice little Berkley power grub. And we're going to, got some Canadian geese going past. Another great part about being outside. You know, the sounds of nature, you know. Geese flying past. How awesome is that, you know? We're going to use the basic knot. And again, I hope you were with me on... where's that scissors? I hope you were with me on Wednesday. But if you weren't, you heard me talk about the improved clinch knot. What a great knot that is. And feel free to go back to Mike Iaconelli Fishing YouTube or my Facebook channel to learn this knot. And here we go. We're going to go in the eye of the jig. There you go. We're going in the eye of the jig. We're going to loop the line around itself 6 to 8 times. When we do that, we created a loop. We're going to go through that loop. When we go through that loop, we created another loop with our index finger. We're going to go back through that loop. We're going to cinch it down, wet it, and then cut that tag end. Use the scissors. Don't use your teeth like I just did. All right, now we've got a different color bait than Vegas was throwing. So, Vegas, you want to try? You got something you want to try? Oh, look, come show everybody. So Vegas, while I was talking, Vegas went and grabbed more Gulp, and he's got pink. He's got a hot pink worm. He's going to try that on one of these rods with the bobber. So, look, kid's already thinking. He's already thinking. This is the great thing about fishing. Vegas, look in here at this camera a second. Listen, fishing teaches more than just fishing. You saw what just happened. Vegas is trying to put the puzzle together in his mind. Listen, I love that. I love education and I love the school systems. But with the virus and kids being home and fishing, think of all the amazing things kids can learn. Vegas's mind is working, using a different bait, using a different color. He did that all on his own. It's so awesome to see that. But another great thing about fishing. All right, so very slow, obviously, so far. Looking at my bobber here as I'm talking, and I no bites yet on that float, but it's doing its job. It's bobbing up and down, and I'm watching it. While I'm watching that one, I'm going to take a couple casts with this too, just to see. Oh, that was a bad cast, wasn't it? Oh, is this giving you a hard time?
Oh, wait.
Yeah, that's a great cast. Look at that thing. I chucked it.
Did I use that?
Yeah, isn't this the one you were using?
Oh, I was using the white.
Oh, yeah. No, I changed colors for it. Okay. So I'm going to throw around a little grub, too, and just to see why we're waiting here. And hopefully we can catch you a fish. If not, listen, this is fishing. You don't always catch them. For sure, this is a lot better than being stuck at home or in an office somewhere. So, okay, watch along for a little bit. Vegas, show everybody. I want you to instruct for a second. Bring that bobber and show them how you're going to hook that on there. And I'm going to take a couple casts.
Oh, that's easy. Give me the easy.
Go ahead. Get right in here and show them.
Okay, so take one. So my bobble's already on, but so here you want to push this up. You want to push this up, and it will come out the bottom. Then you get the back of you get the line, and then you hook it on. And now for this one, you want to hold the bottom. You want to hold the bottom so this comes out. This one comes out, and then you hook this one on. And then if you don't like it like that, you're just going to grab the line and pull it down. So it goes down, or you're gonna go up. So now I'm gonna go right here.
All right, there you have it. Nice little explanation from Vegas. We've got a bobber out here with Gulp. I'm fishing a little Berkley power grub. I'm reeling it in. Nice thing about a power grub is you don't have to do much to it. You just kind of reel it. Just kind of steady reel it. The other thing, honestly, as we're talking is both the casts I've made so far with this Gulp have been deep. I'm going to go ahead and rifle a cast shallower. So because I'm going to fish shallow, I'm going to adjust the length of this bobber to be shorter. The shallower the water, the shorter your leader from bobber to bait. The deeper the water, the longer your leader. The great thing about these floats, look at that. I can adjust it on the fly, and I'm going to make a cast. I see some lily pads over here, and I want to try some of these lily pads. One of the things I really wanted to talk to you about today, about when you're out here fishing, and I'm going to grab the camera here and actually show you. I want to show you a couple things. Is fish like to hang around stuff, cover. So when you're fishing, oh, I didn't know what that was. When you're fishing, you don't always want to cast it out in the open water. If there's a piece of cover or stuff, if there's something in the water, it's a great place to fish near. That cover, that stuff that I'm talking about, could be a piece of brush, a brush pile. It could be lily pads. It could be a log. It could be the concrete of a dam. It could be rocks near a dam. It could be a dock. We're actually on a dock. A lot of times you could just drop it next to the dock. So don't be afraid to fish near stuff, near cover. And let's see, I'm going to make a long cast here, and then I'm going to grab the phone, because I want you to take a look at some of the cover. What's around here? Oh, Vegas is having a hard time opening this. Hold on. The Gulp, they really seal it, so this is super sealed. Let's see. There, I got it. I just got to make a little cut right here for you. There you go. Sorry about that. There you go. All right. Got Vegas ready. All right.
Yay, finally.
All right, I'm going to make a cast with this. And then get it right near them lily pads, and I'm going to show you. All right, now look. Look here. I'm going to flip it around. Look at some of this cover. Right there, if you can see that, that's a piece of brush. That's a brush pile. We're on a dock right here. So the actual dock itself can be a really good place to fish. So you've got a piece of brush. You've got a dock. I don't know if you can see this, but we've got lily pads. See if I can show you this right here. We've got a real good shot of some lily pads right there. Any of that stuff, that piece of brush is a great spot. So don't be afraid to cast near cover, near stuff, because the fish for sure a lot of times will hang near cover. They'll hang near bushes, they'll hang near lily pads. Don't be afraid to cast near that stuff to give you an option to where to catch fish. So we're still fishing here. No bites. Vegas, you see, he switched to a pink worm.
I cut the little edges off.
Oh, he made it real small. He cut it down. Really good. Vegas is using his mind, trying to figure it out. And we're presenting different patterns out here. We got a bobber, a little piece of Gulp on that one, letting that bob around, and of course I've got a little power grub on this one. We'll take a couple more casts while I'm talking to you. Let's see if I can get a couple questions answered. Again, this is Ike's Fishing Basics 101. We're trying to teach you the very basics of fishing. You don't need a lot of stuff to enjoy fishing. It's so basic. Look how simple this is. We don't have a lot of stuff. We've got a couple spinning rods, a bobber, and a couple crappie jigs. So if anybody has any questions over on Instagram, over on Facebook, hit me up right now. We got Pfeiffer checking in from Dennisville. We got Lightline Fishing. What's up? We got Jeffrey. Awesome. Thank you for that note. We got Dan checking in with an awesome. Thank you, Dan. Corey with a question of which rod is this? Corey, we talked about you don't need a lot of money. For 20 to 50 bucks, you can get a great combo. Spinning or spin cast. This rod and reel happens to be the Abu Garcia Ike Dude combo. It comes with the rod and reel. It comes with line. It's $39. Of course, you can get it at Tackle Warehouse. Great place to shop. And you can get it at your other retailers too. Walmart, Amazon, wherever you shop. You don't need to spend a lot of money on a rod and reel. The one thing I would recommend for a rod and reel for people just getting into fishing for the first time, and I mentioned this on Tuesday, is keep it light. Keep it light. You want to use a lighter action rod and reel, something that's 5.5 feet to maybe, I would say at a maximum 7 feet long. That's ultra light to medium is perfect. And that's for freshwater, that's for saltwater. If you're fishing inshore, a little light rod, ultra light rod, is a great way to enjoy fishing. Vegas, how's it going over there? Any bites yet? Okay, let's see. When you're bass fishing and walking the bank, what's your favorite lure to use? This is coming from Clint over on Facebook. Clint, you know, there's so many good lures, but I got one! 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 Oh, it's a big one. I think it's a big one. I got one! I got one! Yeah! Yeah! Vegas, we did it! Come over here. Give me a high five. I'll give you this rod next. Yeah! Yes! Oh, I went to that. I went to that. Listen, yes! Yeah, yeah! Man, all right, I'm going to give you this rod as soon as I'm done. Well, I'm so excited right now. I'm shaking. Look at that. I'm shaking. Beautiful. Look at me. I'm shaking. Vegas is even poking me. I'm so excited. Great example. Come in here. Great example. Great example of why fishing is so fun. Even today, Vegas, it's cold. It's rainy. It's not a good, nice day, but we're having fun and we're outside. And look at that. Okay, this happens to be, for those of you watching that don't know what that is, and it was a great fight, by the way. Great fight on this light Ike Dude rod. And I caught it on the Berkley Power Grub. Chartreuse pumpkin, 2-inch power grub with an 1/8 ounce VMC chartreuse jig head. But this is called a yellow perch. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Gorgeous color. Look at the color on that thing. Okay, now we're going to teach, Vegas. We're going to teach, get in this. I'm going to push back a little bit so you can be in this. We're going to teach for you how to get this fish off. And if you look at it, you can see that that fish is hooked right in the top of the mouth. And we're going to teach you how to hold this fish, how to get it out. Okay, so listen to me. Don't lip a fish unless you know what species it is. You don't never want to lip pickerel or pike because they got teeth. But crappie, bluegills, yellow perch you can lip, okay? So I'm lipping it. Vegas, lip that fish. And this is called lipping. So look how Vegas is holding it. Turn it this way. His thumb, yeah, hold it and point it that way. His thumb is actually in the mouth of the fish and he's pinching. You're squeezing, right? Mm-hmm. Is that what you're doing?
Yep.
Okay, so he's holding it. So Vegas, hold it. Hold it down. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's called lipping. And then this is where I told you guys, pliers and scissors. Pliers and scissors, so important. And Vegas is going to, you want to use the pliers or you want to hold the fish? You want me to do it? Okay, so I'm going to use the pliers and basically you want to grab the shank of the hook and just turn. Just use your hand and just turn, okay? So I'll grab the fish just for this to show you. So you see that little Berkley Power Grub in his mouth? And it's so easy to take it out. I'm going to get my pliers. I'm going to grab the hook point and watch. Look, see, watch me turn. I'm just going to turn. And when I turn, that hook point just pops out. There you have it, okay? All right, so we got the perch. All right, Vegas, come over here. I'm going to give you this rod to try. All right, so we've caught the fish. Now, the two options are we can let this fish go, and if I was fishing, I would take a picture of it with my cell phone. I'd smile, take a picture, and I'd let it go. If not, as I said before, use a stringer, use a chain stringer, a rope stringer, use a bucket, and we can keep that fish, and you can tie it next to the dock or tie it to the bank. But I'm going to show you, Vegas is going to show you how to properly release this fish. Okay, so grab him, grab a hold of him, and we want to, instead of just throw this fish, we want to gently put it in the water, and we're going to move the fish back and forth a little bit to let him get his bearings, and then we're going to watch him swim away. Okay, so I'm going to turn the camera right here. Okay, Vegas. Okay, let's show how we're properly going to release this fish. Okay, watch what Vegas does. He's leaned over in the water. He's going to set it in the water real gently. Look at that. There it goes. Okay, Vegas, good job. Nice work. Good work. All right, his hands are wet. His hands are wet. All right, there you have it. So that was a nice release by Vegas. And again, listen, if you want to keep them, by all means, keep something to eat. Look at your regulations. Look at your creel limits. But if you want to release them, it's one of the most amazing things about the sport of fishing is being able to release a fish. Watching him swim away. It's such a great thing. All right, now we're on to him a little bit. Listen, now we've got a bite on the chartreuse. So now we're a little dialed. So Vegas, you want to take this one? Okay, so we're going to give Vegas this one right here. I'll show you where he was at real quick. He was like right there with a real slow retrieve, super slow retrieve. All right, so now we gave that rod to Vegas, real slow. That fish hit on a slow retrieve. But guess what? We can use that same bait on this bobber as well. So I'm going to, while we're waiting here, I'm going to rig up another one or see what I have that's chartreuse. Look at this. I've got a couple little chartreuse things here. We're definitely going to pull one out. Let's see. My bag of stuff here. Let's see where it goes. Okay. Got a little, there's that VMC jig head that I'm using. It's just a real little, this one's actually a 1/16 of an ounce. It's a little lighter, but it's going to be okay on this bobber. So we're actually going to use the bobber, and I'm going to tie on this little tiny chartreuse jig head. Once you get a bite, it's good. It means you did something right? You know, we got a bite on that grub. It was chartreuse. So I'm going to try to duplicate that. Okay. Okay. That fish came out of a little bit deeper water. He wasn't super deep, but he wasn't on the bank. I was casting about midway out. So let's see. Okay. Adjusted our float level. Adjusted our float level a little. Put this one out here. Vegas, you need a little bit heavier jig head. Okay, I'm going to give Vegas a little heavier jig head. While we're waiting, I'm going to show you the bait again that fish came on. That was Berkley Power Bait, Power Grub, 2 inches. Great color. It's called Chartreuse Pumpkin Seed. So it's actually pumpkin seed on the top, chartreuse on the bottom. I'm gonna rig this one up for Vegas. It's got a little bit heavier head on it. It's got the eighth ounce head on it right here. Okay, let's see. Reel that in when you get a chance, and we'll switch you up. You got it? Okay, reel that in. I'll put this little heavier head on for you too. That way you can cast it out there. And that fish was on a slow retrieve, so you know, definitely. Yeah. Reel. You got one on this one. What hit the bobber? Look at this. Yes. The bobber went down. The bobber went down. Ah! Oh, it's a giant. Take your time. It's a giant crappie. Take your time. Oh, my God. Take your time. Swing him. Yeah! 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 Look at that.
What was that on?
Look at that. On the chartreuse jig. Yeah, yeah. Listen, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. The bobber went down as we were talking, and look at the crappie Vegas just caught. Look at that. Dude, that is a giant. That is a giant. Look how big he is. Okay, listen, just like the yellow perch, this is a fish you can lip. Vegas, show him how you're lipping this fish. So you could grab him by the mouth. The other thing Vegas is doing, back up just a little. The other thing Vegas is doing is he's supporting the fish. And I like, Vegas does this a lot. Notice, back up just a little so they can see. Notice his hand is supporting the fish on the bottom. And that's great.
What was that?
He just pooped on Vegas.
He did.
A little bit. He's supporting the fish on the bottom. And that's good for a fish, especially bigger fish. So he's lipping it. He's supporting on the bottom. You notice how he was fighting that fish. Vegas set the hook and he reeled, but he wanted to keep a steady pressure. Steady pressure is important. Talk about that, how that's important to keep a steady pressure.
Well, you don't want to reel like you're hustling.
Right. You want it
soccer.
Right.
You want to just wheel it
slow and steady.
So you want to wheel it so the fish doesn't do what you're doing.
Right.
So when he does like a ton,
right,
he doesn't. It'll come off, or you'll get like
right. Exactly. What Vegas just said, slow and steady. Mm-hmm. And when he pulls, you give a little. When he comes at you, you reel. And once again, listen. We had the drag set, so no problem. Okay, so we're going to watch this release. Vegas is going to release this crappie, and then now we're on to him a little bit. Now we got the color right. I think we got to. I have a good feeling Vegas is going to catch another one, and I'll film it so you can see the hook set and everything. Okay, so let me turn it. Okay, great job, Vegas. Beautiful, beautiful crappie right there on that Berkley power bait and VMC jig head. Okay, let's let that thing go. Look at that. You ready? Whoa! Dude!
They make their tail go so fast, and then they slow down when the water goes.
Yeah.
And they hate their mouth open.
All right. Listen, this has been a great last episode. I hope you're getting the feeling for why fishing is something I want you to try. It's fun. It's exciting. It's great for kids. We're gonna stay on this feed for a couple more minutes. I want to show you once more. We're using a float. We've got about 25, 30 inches of leader. We're using a little VMC jig head with a little Berkley power bait on it, and we're going to cast it out. And the great thing about that bobber is we're going to watch the float. All right, this one I'm going to turn the camera, and I want to let you really see this now and get an idea of what we're doing. Okay. All right, Vegas is holding the rod, but he's always looking. Watch what he's looking at. And if you can see out there, see if I can zoom in. Okay, there's the bobber. All right, hope everybody can get a look at that bobber right there. The great thing about that color float is it's a little out of focus, but it's orange. There it goes right there. That bobber's orange. And you can see it real easily. So Vegas is waiting. The other thing is, look how the wind is making that bobber. The wind is making that bobber bounce up and down. The bobber's got a float to it. I'm gonna make another cast real quick with this because I feel like I know the little spot right now. Hold on. I feel like I know it. It was like right there. You go. That's more like the cast right there. Okay. All right. All right. So here we go. We got Vegas. He's watching that float out there. Uh-oh. He's got him! He's got him! He's got him. Look, no, take your time. Look how he's reeling it. Look how he's reeling it. Look. Steady pressure, steady pressure, steady pressure, Vegas. Look, he's got a good one. Take your time. Take your time. Look, see how he's reeling it? Oh, God, it's a giant. Oh, my God. Vegas, take your time. All right, now watch. Watch what he does. Watch what he does. Oh, my God, it's another big crappie. Look at this. Watch this swing. Swing him, Vegas. Ah! That one came off. That's okay. That's okay. All right, that one came off. That one came off when he was swinging it. That one came off when he was swinging it. It was another big crappie. Listen, it's okay, Vegas. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I know.
See, it's okay. It's no big deal.
That 1,000 times. You don't even know how many times.
You don't even know how many times. All right, here's the good news. You guys got to see the fight. You got to see how Vegas was keeping a steady pressure. He was taking his time with the fish as he was reeling it in. He was letting the reel do the drag if the fish wanted to take drag. So everything was perfect there. The fish got off when he went to swing it.
Oh, there goes another one.
He's got another one. He's got another one. He's got another one. Guys, he's got another one. It's a big one. Take your time. Now, when you go to swing this one, Vegas, take your time. Oh, my gosh, this one's a giant. Look at this. Look at this, guys.
Hopefully it's a new species.
It's a new species, hopefully. Oh, my gosh. Dude. Dude. Take your time. Oh, it's a big crappie. Take your time. Come bring him over here and I'll lip him for you. It's a black. It's a new species.
Oh, is it going under?
Yeah! Look at that. That's a black crappie. New species, Vegas.
I've never seen.
Look at that. Look how dark that fish is. Look how awesome that is.
I don't remember catching a black, but...
Dude, this might be...
Yeah,
This is unbelievable. Thank God this is live right now. I don't know if we're still live on Instagram or not. This is Vegas's first black crappie.
I have never caught one.
Never caught one. Look in his mouth. Look at that little jig, that little power grub, Berkley power grub. Look at that thing. Dude, I'm so proud of you, bro. Yeah. I'm proud of you, man. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Right there. Hold it up for everybody. This is a great moment. I'm very proud of Vegas. I'm very proud of my son for catching his first black crappie. It's beautiful. Look at the color. Dark coloration on that fish. Vegas is trying to get that little VMC jig head out. That got a great hook on it. He's trying to use his hands, but we have a pliers right here if we need them. There it goes. He got it.
It's not that hard.
Show everybody how you hold the fish again. Look at this. Look at that beautiful crappie, guys. This is what it's all about. Beautiful. Beautiful.
It looks like black smoke.
It looks like black smoke a little bit. It does look like black smoke. Listen to me right now if you're watching. Beautiful, beautiful fish. This is what fishing is all about. This is what fishing is all about. Please, if you haven't tried this sport, let's let this fish go and then we can talk.
Because you don't know if this is old or not.
Here it goes. Nice one.
Yeah?
Listen, if you haven't tried this sport, stay with me here and talk for a second. Look, Vegas wants to cast out there again. He knows. Talk with me for 1 second. I'll let you go back to fishing. If you haven't tried fishing, please try it. If you fish already, but you know someone that hasn't fished, it could be your son, your daughter, your nephew, your niece, a neighbor. Take them fishing. This is so important. Fishing's the last great sport that connects you with nature. It's the last great sport that connects you with nature. Vegas, do you love it?
Yes, I love it.
He loves it. It's fun. It's exciting.
Really fun.
You see that smile? You see that smile on his face? Look at that.
Sometimes it wants to get even bigger, but it just can't.
Yep. It's a great sport. So unbelievable. And, you know, we talked in an earlier one about the puzzle. Fishing's a puzzle. Did you see how it happened today? If you watched this whole live episode, we got here, we weren't catching them. We were using white. White wasn't working. I was using little gulp. Wasn't working. We were fishing shallow. I started moving a little deeper. I caught one, chartreuse. switched the other one to chartreuse. Boom, boom, boom. We figured out the puzzle. That's what fishing's all about, okay?
Is that
Let's see.
upside down or is that?
It's,
Is that upside down?
we'll get you the okay, hold on.
That one's good.
Hold on. We're going to show you again. His little grub came off, so we're going to show you again how to rig this little Berkley power grub.
That's not the...
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, you're just trying that one.
Let's see. So we've got that. We got that little jig head, little VMC jig head. Get that little Berkley power grub. We're going to thread it through that jig. Push it out right before you get to the tail. Slide it up. There you go. Okay.
No.
I'm going to cast it for it. I'm going to cast it for Vegas just because I know the juicy now. It's like right there. All right. Let's see. Let's see. See if Vegas can catch one more for us before we sign out. Oh! Got another one. Steady pressure, steady pressure. Rod up, rod up. Steady pressure, rod up. Stay right there. Steady pressure, rod up. Rod up. It's a big one. It's a big one. Steady pressure. Steady pressure. Steady pressure. Oh my gosh, look at the size of that. Oh my God, another big black. It's another big black. Oh my gosh. Take your time. Look at the size of this black. Oh. Ah! Get a swing, get a swing, get a swing. Yeah! Yes! The swing by Vegas. Yes! Look at that. Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Good job. Look at the size of that black. It's way bigger than the other one. Look at this. This is so awesome. This is so great. Show them to that camera over there.
Here goes another one. So his fins are a little beat up, but it doesn't matter.
It's a lot bigger black crappie right there.
My other one was probably that. No,
Yeah.
that.
That's almost a. That's probably
Tail.
that's probably almost a full pound. So that's a big one. Okay, let's see here. We're gonna turn this camera around. All right, we're gonna end it on this. Listen, this is a great way to end it. I hope you had a great time watching Ike's Fishing Basics 101 Monday through Friday. It's been a great week. I can't thank you enough for watching. I hope you learned a little bit. I hope the main thing that you took away from these 5 days of instruction is try fishing. Try fishing. Fishing's fun. Fishing's exciting. And fishing puts a smile on kids' faces. And me too, because I'm a big kid. Go let that fish go. We're going to let Vegas let that fish go. Go ahead, let it go. And then I'm going to have you come back in here for a second. Okay, come back. Okay.
There you go.
All right. Want to end this live broadcast with saying thank you for joining us. If you get a chance, please support some of the companies that are in the fishing industry that really care about getting people fishing and kids fishing. Abu Garcia, Berkley Fishing, Tackle Warehouse, Flambeau, Rods and Reels. Please support those folks. They do a great job in the industry of fishing. Also, if you're interested in helping directly with getting kids fishing, go to the IkeFoundation.org, the IkeFoundation.org. Go on there. We got a lot of information on how you can help support kids fishing. And last but not least, a crazy time going on right now with a global pandemic. If you're in a state or a country where you're allowed to fish, please go outside. Breathe the fresh air. Get a fishing rod. Try fishing. Take a kid fishing. You're going to love it. You want to say anything before we go, Vegas?
I guess go to my Instagram and go look at my new...
Yeah. Your videos and content. Yeah. Vegas has to pimp himself, of course. If you have Instagram, go to Vegas the Hammer. That's Vegas's Instagram. Give him a follow. He's got some really good content on there. Hope you had a great time watching. We appreciate you so much. Good luck, good fishing, God bless. And the last three things we're going to leave you is 3 words. Never
Give
up. Never give up. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Peace.